Nein, der ist giftig. Dann noch schauen. Hm?
In a village somewhere in the Swiss Alps, a church caretaker is found dead after hanging himself. People can't understand why someone who believes in God would take his own life, so the priest explains the reason to them.
Dämon. Nicht verscharren wie ein Hund. Es ist Grab soll zum Pilger weg.
Not long after, on the way back from the caretaker's funeral,
Mutter Gottes!
they come across a mysterious woman. The doctor says the woman can't speak and seems to have lost her memory, so she should be sent to a psychiatric hospital. But the police officer says he will help find her home instead. Everyone thinks the mysterious woman is suspicious. One villager even says that on the day the church caretaker died, he saw her heading up the mountain.
Hey!
Das ist gerade davor, wo ich sie gesehen habe.
Grüezi miteinander.
Das ist der Selbstmord von Messner und nicht sie. Das ist doch kein Zufall. Sebastian, die Frau kommt von der Höhenalp.
Hast du nicht etwas zum Anlegen für sie?
To protect her, the police officer keeps her in a holding cell. Then goes to Erwin's house up in the mountains.
Erwin!
When he finds no one at home, he searches around for a while, but eventually leaves and heads back down. But the villagers warn him that Erwin hasn't been seen for several days, and that it may have something to do with the woman. With no other choice, the police officer takes her back to his own house and begins looking into who she is.
Das sind Sie.
A little later, the woman draws a strange symbol, but the officer has no idea what it means. A few days earlier, a man from the city named Martin came to Erwin's house in the mountains to volunteer.
Albert!
Erwin was living with his nephew Albert, a boy who had stopped speaking after the trauma of losing his father.
Ist der Albert stumm geboren? Nein.
Marty helps Erwin with the housework and even goes hunting with him.
Simsalabim.
Lewin boasts about absinthe, a liquor so strong that at the time its production had been banned in Europe. And in the end, they drink together. The woman has poor social skills, but she does show affection toward the police officer who helped her. To find her family, the officer takes her to look through missing person records.
Jetzt können wir den gerade zu den Vermissten.
Und wenn sie nicht findet, dann können sie die junge Dame auch da lassen.
But among the photos of missing people, he sees a woman who looks exactly like her in a case from 1950. The officer asks a friend he can somewhat trust to look after her, then goes to investigate the case from 25 years ago. The woman tries to express something to the officer's friend, but the officer Just then, the woman runs away and ends up at a diner. When she sees a cross drawn on a loaf of bread, she attacks someone and then flees back up the mountain.
Wo ist sie?
Wo ist sie?
Das Kind ist tot.
The pregnant woman at the diner ends up having a miscarriage, and all the blame falls on the police officer. Meanwhile, back at Erwin's house, the drinking goes on late into the night.
Es braucht ein Sennentuntschi. Ein Sennentuntschi.
There is a legend in this region called Sennentuntschi. According to the legend, 3 poor and lonely shepherds once made a female doll stuffed with straw to play with. When the devil saw this, he took pity on them and sent them a real woman.
Spiritus Sanctus. Sanctus. Simsalab.
Drunk out of their minds, the 3 men spent the night with her, not even knowing whether she was a doll or a real woman. They are shocked, while Erwin becomes confused, wondering if the legendary Sennentuntschi has actually come to life. Then he remembers how the legend of Sennentuntschi ends, the story of the witch.
Ich habe den Schluss von dieser Geschichte noch nicht erzählt.
Marty says she might be a missing person and asks them to send her down to the village before the police come.
Ist ja gut. Bringen Sie ja ab.
But when Erwin is left alone with the woman, he does something terrible to her.
Warum sind die noch da?
Sie will nicht gehen. Haben alles versucht.
Viens avec moi, viens. Y a pas de place pour nous deux ici, tu comprends? T'es avec au village.
Martin, who chases after the woman as she tries to run away, ends up doing the same thing. Meanwhile, the priest declares that the woman is a witch who has been killing people for hundreds of years.
In Böhmen ermordet 1435.
Now, the police officer, the only person trying to help her, becomes the common enemy of the entire village.
Amen.
The officer receives a wanted poster, and the person on it is Martin. In fact, Marty had killed his cheating girlfriend and came to Erwin's house as a volunteer to hide. That day, they drink strong liquor and enjoy themselves like usual, until Marty gets bitten on the hand by the woman. When everyone falls asleep, the woman takes a knife and goes off to do something. The police officer tries to take her somewhere safe, away from the villagers. It turns out the villagers have been watching him, waiting for a chance to catch her. But the woman has already disappeared, and now the villagers even begin ignoring the authority of the police. When the officer returns home, he realizes that the symbol left behind by the priest is the same as the drawing made by the woman. He sneaks into the church, discovers a hidden space, and goes inside. There, he finds traces of someone having been locked up, along with a doll stuffed with straw. Meanwhile, up in the mountains, Albert urgently leads the men to the barn. Inside, all the livestock are dead, with their skin peeled off. This is exactly how the woman in the Sennentuntschi legend took revenge on the men. Erwin becomes convinced that she is a witch, so he tries to capture and kill her. Marty, who doesn't believe in the legend, hides her first in order to help her.
Je suis désolé pour hier soir.
But the bite wound on his hand keeps getting worse. so he tells Erwin why he can't go to the hospital.
Die Polizei sucht mich.
Erwin tells him to bring some liquor, at least to help ease the pain. But that place turns out to be where the woman is being held. In a moment of panic, the woman doesn't realize who it is and attacks. A little later, Erwin comes in. Seeing only the woman inside, he immediately locks the door. After that, Albert manages to get out, but his condition is already very serious, while the woman escapes. Meanwhile, after finishing his investigation at the church, the police officer goes to see the priest.
Ich verhafte Sie wegen einer Stelle, die meine letzten Meter in Freiheitsfuß gehen. Ich weiß jetzt, warum die Frau da unserer Frau so gleicht.
Hey, das Loch ist gesteckt!
The priest had locked her in the basement to cover up his own mistake.
Du hast die Mutter von deinem Kind in den Tod getrieben!
And the child says he saw the woman heading up the mountain.
Ich kein Mensch.
So the officer goes up the mountain to find her. At the same time, Albert eventually dies. Worried, the woman watches from outside, but then Erwin attacks her.
Auf den Boden!
Marty, who doesn't believe in the legend, realizes he can't kill another woman, so he lowers his gun. The two are finally reunited in an emotional moment. But then the woman leads the officer somewhere. There, just like in the legend, are dolls made from the skin of 3 men, stuffed with straw inside. The thought that the Sennentuntschi legend might actually be true sends a chill down the officer's spine, and a chase with the woman begins. The officer finds 3 skinned bodies beneath the cliff. Then he sees something else and is left in shock.
Tommy! Tommy! Tommy!
Doppel.
A few days earlier, Marty had not killed the woman. He was the one slowly dying as the bite wound kept getting worse. He asked her to find medicine. The woman didn't understand what he was saying, but she still went down the mountain to look for help. Then, she collapsed in front of everyone, and the police officer took her in to help her. But because of the villagers and the priest, she ended up being locked away. And when the officer went up the mountain, he never saw Martin, who was already dying. When the car accident happened, the woman returned to the mountain, only to find that Martin was dead too. Just like what she had seen in that place, the dead creatures had their skin peeled off and were thrown down the cliff, while the remaining skin was stuffed with straw. The movie cuts back and forth between different timelines, making even the audience wonder whether she really is a witch or not. It shows how a crowd, stirred up by someone's lies, can turn one person into a witch and attack them. The film ends by revealing what the police officer had seen in the past. Thank you for watching until the end. Goodbye, and see you in the next video.